Hello my friends, thank you for joining me in this video. Today I mainly want to talk about my opinions and experiences with unscripted videos. Of course, this video that you're watching right now is unironically unscripted, as it'd be pretty hypocritical for me to script it. Well, let's just, cut to the chase and go over my history with scripted videos, which would simply enough be my history starting this channel. When I started this channel, I wrote relatively extensive scripts for my movie reviews, as I believe my first 5 videos or so were strictly movie reviews. And thinking about what to say in a moment's notice while we basically ad-libbing, I found difficult. So I decided to write a script to read from. In fact, if you watch those older videos, you'll notice that I spend more time looking at my screen than I do at the camera. And a lot of that is because I'm trying to get my footing into this whole filming thing, and I'm mostly going off script more than anything. In fact, pretty much all of my wording for my first few videos were all written out. Like, I don't think I ad-lib much at all in those videos. And unfortunately, I can't really confirm, because all of those scripts were on an older computer that is no longer working, nor can I get the data from. So I have no way to show anyone what my early scripts look like. By the time I got my new computer, and I still have the scripts I have now, they are a lot more simple than they once were. Nowadays, if you see me looking at my screen like I do sometimes right now, I'm either looking to make sure the camera is still focusing, because the camera I have right here is not autofocus, it manually focuses, and sometimes it freaks out on me. So sometimes you'll see me look down to make sure everything's fine. I also look down to see what the runtime is, because in my head I have an idea on how long I want each certain video, or at the very least a bare minimum of each video. At a certain point, however, I decided to go unscripted, and we will talk about that in a couple of minutes. Might as well get some tapping tingles here for everyone, because that seems to be a fan favorite. Not too much, of course. This is a Ramble video after all. Well, my first experience with unscripted videos, more or less, would be a role play of mine, but not a role play, but not my first role play or even my second role play. I believe my first 2 role plays were a therapist role play and an English tutor role play. I believe it was my 3rd role play where I decided to go no scriptless, and that was my poker role play. I think that was my 3rd video. I would have to confirm, but I believe that was my 3rd one. Or at the very least, I think it was my 3rd one filmed. I'm not sure if it was the 3rd one recorded. I mean, a 3rd one published. But anyway, that one, in both my English tutor and my therapy role plays, I had a script, and most, if not all, of the dialogue was based on the script. The poker video was the very first one where I did not have a script I referenced to. And that explains probably why it was so awkward to watch. My timing and natural flow was way different than it is now. Now I can basically speak to you as I am, scriptless and ad-libbing, as if it's at least a little more natural. While watching back on my poker video, it does seem very stiff and robotic. But I guess that happens with experience. I've always been very analytical. Like, I'm in college trying not to be a biologist, so that is a pretty far from a creative standpoint. I've never been good at anything creative anyway. Never really liked art class because I always found it kind of boring and pointless. So that's really my creative feelings. That's part of the reason why I kind of hesitated to get into ASMR for a few months before I decided to, just say screw it, I'll just do it, because I was like, I don't know how well I'm going to do since I don't have much creativity, which is part of the reason, in essence, why I decided to do movie reviews, because while that does have some creativity in the writing, at the very least, it's based on something that's tangible, like my opinion of a movie. Um, Writing a script for a role play that I made up is not nearly as tangible as that's kind of an idea that I have to formulate, as opposed to reviewing a movie where I'm bouncing off an idea from a pre-existing object. And of course, there's one last type of video that I do a lot, still now and then, is the ramble videos such as this. Believe it or not, most of my ramble videos have scripts. In fact, this might be the first ramble video that doesn't have a script. I'll have to look into that. But, and that essentially, there's a purpose for that. If you look at my ramble playlist, it has a lot of videos where it's not simple subjects like, my first family vacation or whatever. A lot of them are relatively complex concepts. My first ramble video, I believe, was me comparing and contrasting 1980s horror versus 21st century horror movies. And then a few others I have are from Christian theology and stuff like that, Christian apologetics and stuff like that. A lot of stuff that you just simply can't ad-lib unless you're just like an expert, unless your field of work happens to be this particular area. And I'm not a Christian apologist by trade. I just do it in my free time. So that's part of the reason why I had scripts for rambles. I am not sure how unusual that is, and actually, for all I know, maybe most people have scripts for their rambles. But from what I've seen, it seems like the vast majority of ASM artists who do things with words, whether it be role plays or rambles, seems to go scriptless. So that's essentially what I decided to do at some point for a few reasons. Now, on to dropping my brush. On to camera brushing or face brushing. Still have to get used to this. I like it. I know a lot of other people like it. I just don't seem to do it as smoothly as a lot of people do. Anyway, moving on. I was talking about why I decided to go scriptless. Well, the big factor was time constraints. College has gotten very hectic since we've gone pretty much full online. So, I know it sounds weird, but I'm left with less time. It seems to take me way longer to create a script than it actually does to film it. And that became a problem as my schedule became more hectic. In fact, there was a period for like 2 weeks where I didn't post a video at all because I just didn't have time to film. So instead, I was like, you know what? Let's just cut out the biggest part, or at least try to reduce the biggest part of my ASMR career, and just make reduced scripts. Several of my newer review videos have more simple scripts like concepts. Instead of outright full lines I would say to the camera, I just had outlines. Because I have a near photographic memory, I can at the very least remember parts of the movie. It's kind of weird. I can remember all the scripts I write, at least for a short time. Now I've kind of forgotten a lot of them. That's why I don't remember exactly which ones which ones were full and which ones weren't. But when I'm typing it and I am reading it back to the camera, I remember pretty much all the script. The weird thing is, it's really hard to recite it to the camera. That's why I have it in front of me, because like, for some reason my brain just shuts down when I'm at the camera. I can recite it to the wall all day, but when I'm in front of the camera, it's like, it becomes a mess. So I decided, you know what, let's just make a simple script. And the problem is, even those took a while to make. So I decided to go scriptless pretty much from now on, unless the certain concept calls for a script. That's part of the reason why I like doing the biology teacher videos so much, because not only is the script essentially a textbook, but because I learned all this. Like I said, I'm a biologist, well, soon to be a biologist. A lot of stuff I know already, so it's not like all I have to do basically is somehow explain it, which I hope I do a good enough job. But now let's talk about why I prefer scripted videos versus unscripted videos like these. The first thing about scripted videos is it's much easier to, at least at the time, it was much easier to get my ideas in order. Now it seems like I pretty much have an idea of how I'm speaking and what I'm going to talk about and which order I'm going to do it in. But, and this has been a recent phenomenon, like only in the last couple of weeks have I noticed that I've gotten a lot better with this format. And I think a lot of that has to do with my confidence I have grown with. I've noticed that I've gotten a lot better at this since I've been joining numerous collabs and have gotten to know a number of ASMR artists who are way better than me at it. But it is what it is. Anyway, it was just so much easier. Like when I'm doing a movie review and I have like 8 things I want to talk about, it's much easier to just reference a script that I wrote instead of trying to think about on the fly. But even then, I'm starting to get a lot better at it. And it seems to go a lot faster if I just remember the movie. Like, I used to watch a movie and then write a script, so it'd be like 5 days, maybe even a week or more after I watch a movie that I review it. However, these last few reviews, I basically watch it and then film it the very same day, which I think helps in my ideas. I used to write a script while watching a movie, but that was a total disaster. What movie did I do that with? I'm trying to think. What movie was that? It wasn't The Reef. No, it wasn't Truth or Dare either. What was it? It was like in that area. There was one particular movie where I tried to write it as I was watching, and it worked. I think it was The Reef. But I don't remember. The second reason I like scripted videos is so I don't miss anything when I'm reviewing. Another movie I missed, there's another movie that was scriptless that I wrote in the description that I missed. Oh yeah, I was reviewing The Burning Bed, and that was going to be scriptless. And it turned out fine for the most part, but the problem is there was one piece of the film that I want to talk about that I didn't talk about because I forgot. And again, because I had so much I want to talk about the movie, and I just plumb forgot about a certain concept. And that's that's pretty much the whole reason why I wrote scripts in the first place, was to avoid forgetting something that I think is important. That becomes a lot more critical if I'm talking about like apologetics or philosophy or politics or whatever. Current events, just anything that's not like art, it's more important not to forget these little details than it is a simple review. So that's part of the reason why I did a lot of scripts. And the third thing I like about scripted videos is there's less pressure to ad-lib. Here I'm basically ad-libbing the whole video because there's not a script in front of me here, so I'm basically going. And the cuts I have here are due to essentially other issues than me thinking about it, because I pretty much have an idea of what I want to say. Sometimes you see cuts in my videos because I have technical issues and some outside issues, like I have responsibilities at the house that make noise. No kids or anything like that, don't worry, I don't have kids. But essentially, another reason I like scripted videos is because sometimes I don't know what to say in any given moment. I have these awkward pauses. But anyway, ad-libbing has always been kind of a weak point for me because I've never had to do it. Pretty much everything I've done, it's been planned. And when I mean ad-lib, I mean superficial ad-libbing, like talking to a camera. Like, if I have to plan something in the spur of the moment, I do pretty good at that because my mind works so quickly. My mind sometimes works much faster than my mouth, which is why sometimes I speak really fast. If you watch a lot of my older videos, or heck, some of my newer videos, I speak really fast, to a point where some people can't understand me. But apparently I've gotten a lot better at that, rewatching some of my newer videos. But I like writing scripts, so I don't pressure myself to ad-lib, because sometimes, if I'm ad-libbing, it's not really what I say, it's what I don't say. Sometimes I have to pause the video because, like, I know what I want to say, but then it leaves my brain, and I have these awkward pauses that really make me cringe. But that doesn't happen as often, at least doesn't happen often now. It used to happen a lot, in my older videos. In my older videos, where I had myself ad-lib, I would pause the video to think about what I was going to say, then I would play it again. Now, I don't do it nearly as much. Of course, there are some significant advantages to being scriptless. One is that I think maybe make it feel more natural in an odd way. I know I was saying how unnatural I feel doing it, but I do think it probably helps with it feeling natural, because if you're trying to do a role play where this is supposed to be realistic, then it's probably best to speak as if you're speaking to someone, as opposed to speaking to a piece of paper. Now, of course, that doesn't always work. For instance, when I do my questioning videos, my second questioning video was technically a collab, a submission. But when you do a questioning video, you have to have a script in front of you because you are asking questions. It's much harder to ask questions that you just think on the fly than it is questions that you set up in advance. Another thing about scriptless videos is if I have a concept, I can just film right away. I don't have to sit down and write a script. In some of my classes, I have to write a lot, and that gets tiring. Lab reports, you name it. And I don't want to have to sit down and write a script that's not that important. So that's another big advantage. And probably the third big advantage is that in essence, incentivizes me to watch and review in the same day, which honestly makes reviewing way easier, because now I don't have to rely on a fallible memory to remember movies when I just remember it very well, unless I've seen the movie a lot. Now, when it comes to other ASMR artists, I'm not entirely sure how often some are scripted and some are not. I would imagine that most roleplays, at the very least, are have a soft script. In other words, these ASMR artists who do roleplays probably have a certain number of events they have to reach before they're done with recording the video. And I think that is probably what I'm going to do a lot. I'm going to do scriptless and then soft scripts. Not for reviews anymore, I don't think, because it seems like it's a lot faster just watching the movie and then record. But for role plays specifically, I think it's much better to do a soft script. And I think most ASMR artists probably do that, where they, like I said, write a bullet point of the events that happen in the role play. Then once they get to that point, they move on. Or for all I know, maybe most ASMR artists do it on the fly, and they're just a lot better at it than I am. And clearly. And of course, as I'm saying this, as you can tell, this is unscripted. Another thing about scripted videos is that I don't repeat myself. You probably heard I just repeated myself when talking about scripts and other ASMR artists. But who knows? Maybe that's the whole charm of rambles, where you kind of get the, I guess, essence, if you will, of these ASMR artists such as myself, and what we're really thinking and feeling. Now, of course, not all rambles can be like this. If there's a subject in theology or whatever that I want to say in an ASMR man style, it's not going to be practical to do it freehand or scriptless, if you will. However, for certain things such as this ramble or another roleplay, I'm thinking of doing another poker roleplay in the future. It makes total sense to do it ad lib, to either do it scriptless or at the very least a very soft script. I don't see myself writing any more hard scripts for anything other than heavy subjected rambles, because writing scripts it just takes too long. I might be able to do it this summer, but as of right now, and for the foreseeable future, I hope that my ad-libbing skills get a lot better. So let me know down in the comments how you think about these scriptless videos, if you've seen any of my recent videos and how they compare. Also keep in mind that my biology teacher videos do not count as scriptless, as technically the script is the textbook. So again, let me know in the comments down below how much you like these. Also let me know, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, as this helps any and every channel. Thank you very much. I'm looking down at the timestamp. Fun fact, I even in my very early review videos where I still do, but where I brush the mic in between, I literally wrote the point I was gonna make, then brush mic however many times. Then the point I was gonna make, actually brush mic for however many minutes. So yeah, it was very scripted, and I thought scripting it would make my videos better, and it really didn't. Well, just want to thank you all for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.